I fought a hard fight. I fought a legend, man. So a guy like me, right? The whole world was against me, right? And I was probably like 0 to 100, like 1 to 100, and on the odds, right? And just facing a legend, man, it's something different on my chin. But it's, I got to bite down on my mouthpiece and push. And look what happened in the third round. I got hit with a left hook. I dropped. We be practicing in camp the whole time, keeping my right hand to my chin.
The very first time a loss has been added to the record of the boxing prospect, who took the world by storm after becoming a professional boxer and winning his first 16 fights by knockout in the first round. And while the press conference, even the match itself, was filled with so much violence and hatred, the post-fight was one filled with emotions and embraces as Edgar Berlanga finally acknowledged Canelo Alvarez as his idol and shared a warm embrace with him. But beyond the feelings of fulfillment for Berlanga are the feelings of a devastating defeat and a shabby performance enter the brightest of all spotlights on the night his chin failed him, as he was quickly sent to the canvas in the third round. But not just that, his IQ that he boasted so much about during the press conference was also absent, as he was outboxed for the better part of their contest.
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this opportunity. I went in there with a legend today, man. We came up short. Obviously, I'm a winner at heart, man. So, I'm a little down, but, I know I won the world after this performance. I got dropped.
His heart and drive were the only things that saw him through, and they helped him push the fight to the very last round. Well, you don't expect this to be the best of news for the Brooklyn native, who soon became emotional after the final bell was rung, and Berlanga paid a lot of respect to Canelo. In his post-fight interview in the ring, he says he feels bad that they didn't get a chance to talk one-on-one before signing the contract or fighting, and that their first meetings were consumed by promotion and trash talk. It was the first time we saw Edgar Berlanga drenched in humility and soberness, and importantly, he acknowledged Canelo Alvarez's greatness and the fact that he was able to experience it firsthand.
You're a great fighter. Keep going. Keep working. Keep busy in the boxing. Working, train, fight a lot, and you're gonna be champion. But keep focused, my friend. Huh? You're young.
I was telling him that he's my idol, and it stinks that before I get to even speak to him, we signed the contract, Berlanga said. But he has been my hero since I was a kid. I always looked up to him, and I felt awful that we had to have awful blood later. I just wanted to thank him for the opportunity. I humbly say that Alvarez, 34, backed Berlanga up to the corner and roped it. Outland the 27-year-old Berlanga by a score of 201 to 119, according to CompuBox. Alvarez also hit an incredible 43% of his punches overall and 49% of his power shots. The sellout crowd of over 20,000 fans chanted Alvarez's name throughout this Mexican Independence Day weekend party as he sent his countrymen home, happy despite representing going to a decision for the 5th straight fight.
Different, it's a blessing too to share the ring with him.
I feel great and prepared. It's an honor for my country. Alvarez said it was my experience, my talent, my hard work, and my intelligence. It's everything together, because if you have talent but you don't have discipline, you have nothing. There were many familiarities in Saul Canelo Alvarez's win over Edgar Berlanga on Saturday, but also some fresh narrative threads in the latest chapter of the Mexican story. Just as he had done in his previous 3 fights, the super middleweight champion dropped his opponent en route to a points win. Yet this was not a dull continuation of what some have deemed an uninspiring phase of Canelo's career. The 34-year-old has been the face of boxing for the best part of a decade and has beaten many world champions, but his recent choice of opponents and the nature of his performances have disappointed many fans.
Man, the whole world was against me, and I was saying it in interviews, nobody believed in me. I felt like I had probably like 20% of the world, maybe 10% of the world I believe.
Against John Ryder last spring, Jerem Charlo last September, and Jamie Munguia this May, Canelo was comfortably competent enough to keep his titles, yet never quite daring enough to push for a finish. Canelo fought the now unbeaten American in front of a rocking crowd on Mexican Independence Weekend, with Berlanga playing the evil guy and playing up to the audience at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas throughout the bout. The pair traded fouls and heated words. Berlanga 27 threw a clear low blow in the second round after Canelo landed 2 illegal punches to the back. In the 8th round, Canelo seemed to intentionally throw a clean right cross after the referee had stopped the action in retaliation to Berlanga using his head as a weapon.
But it was a great fight, man. I know, that it was gonna be a great fight at the end of the day, man.
And as the conclusion of the contest crept closer, the super middleweights continued to jab, both physically and verbally barking at one another during the rounds in between them. Yet after the final bell, the boxers immediately touched gloves and embraced before, trading words again, but in much kinder fashion than before, and for some time it all added an element of enjoyment to a fight that could have felt so formulaic in this late stage of Canelo's glittering career. The important details are that Canelo dropped his challenger with a perfect left hook in round 3, took Berlanga 0 and retained the unified titles. But on this night, the fans seemed to have more fun than at recent Canelo fights. The same appeared to apply to Alvarez himself, and even Berlanga despite his defeat.
You know, I was calling this guy for 4 years, you know, and like I said, man, he's a legend.
While the scores show that Berlanga was well beaten, he earned Canelo's respect through toughness and a desire to keep firing back, while Alvarez applied near constant pressure. The American of Puerto Rican descent even landed several picture-perfect crosses on the Mexican, only for Canelo's famous chin and his ability to roll with punches to deflate Berlanga. And he will have left the T-Mobile Arena flattened, of course, but not without a useful lesson for the rest of his career. He did good, Canelo said of Berlanga before opening up on their post-fight talk, which had played out in Spanish. He said he respects me. I'm his idol. He said he feels bad for the way he acted with some adrenaline. I got a little angry. I'm a Mexican man. Canelo laughed before shouting "Viva Mexico, cabrones."
A lot of experience, man, being in the ring with him. You know, he's a great fighter. You know, but I know that he knows that I'm the future legend of the sport.
Now what are they going to say? He added, speaking to his critics. I fight younger fighters. Before they said I only fight older fighters. They always talk I'm the best fighter in the world, that he may or may not be, but he is a special fighter. And this became a special night and a special career. Interestingly, the sober Edgar Berlanga lauded his idol and asked for a possible rematch. Well, many know Canelo's mind is set on Dmitry Bivol at the light heavyweight division, where he plans to contest with the Russian should he defeat Artur BBF in their undisputed clash in October. It was not a total walk in the park, but Saul Canelo Alvarez did control the fight and ended up beating Edgar Berlanga to retain his World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, World Boxing Organization undisputed super middleweight title by unanimous decision. After the judges' scores of 117, 110, 118, 109, and 118, 109, the 34-year-old Mexican boxer proved once again why he is the best in the division. But the young native of Brooklyn, representing his heritage of Puerto Rico, took every punch like a man.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe because his 27 years of age helped, but he also has an endurance and stamina that is remarkable. With that said, it was hard not to be manhandled by Canelo's experience. Over most of the fight, Canelo dominated at the beginning, until Berlanga woke up in the 6th with a strong combination that was not enough. Canelo could not get a knockout as he predicted it would happen in the round, but his jab, hook, and uppercut were like none other. In the later rounds, both boxers traded punches as Berlanga power was seen, but Canelo was ready to go all the way in the last seconds of the last round. Both boxers got into it even more after a couple of rounds before words were exchanged, and they both brought it towards the end, but the crowd was applauding what happened after the bell rang. Berlanga immediately went on to hug his idol, as they both recognized the talent on both sides, and Canelo told Berlanga to keep on working as he is on the right path to becoming a great fighter. As the Puerto Rican said he was grateful after being chosen by Canelo to be his opponent.
Definitely, I put the whole 168-pound division on notice. I know that they know that I'm coming to fight. And listen, you know, facing a guy like Canelo, right? He's the man. He's the top dog at 168. You know, there's no bigger than him.
Opening up on his post-fight talk with Berlanga, he said he respected me. I'm his idol. He said he feels bad for the way he acted, but you know he did good with adrenaline. I got a little angry. I'm a Mexican man. Viva Mexico, cabron. Canelo reportedly landed about 50% of power punches. He attributes it to his skill, experience, discipline. And the next fight, I'm going to rest and enjoy my family now, and then I'll make a decision. Well, as far as the fight went, some things just don't change whenever a whip opponent approaches. Canelo Alvarez, with audible bluster and demonstrative threats of violence, tends to rise to the moment. Saturday night was no different, with an aggressive, unbeaten, and powerful opponent, Puerto Rican contender Edgar Berlanga, not to mention a chatty foe. The 34-year-old bit down on his mouthpiece and relied on his steady pressure and superior skill set to win a unanimous decision over 12 rounds.
At the 168 division, he's a Floyd Mayweather, he's a Manny Pacquiao, he's that type of guy. You know, when you fight him, it's like a concert, you know, and I feel like I handled it very, very well.
He won 9 of 12 rounds on one scorecard and 10 of 12 on the other two, securing 62 wins across 66 fights in a pro career dating back to 2005. It was his 9th title fight win at 168 pounds, where he's been an undisputed champion, and now he holds 3 of the divisions for most recognized title belts. He previously reigned at 154, 160, and 175 pounds too, after a comprehensive performance in which he landed 50% of his power punches across 12 rounds and scored the fight's lone knockdown with a snappy left hook in round 3. It was hard to argue. Rose quickly and survived the round, and though he was rattled several times across the final 9, never seemed in danger of an imminent stoppage. Berlanga opened his career with 16 straight first-round knockouts but seemed reluctant to fight too aggressively against Alvarez, who is excellent on defense and typically replies with powerful and precise counterpunches.
I gave my part, you know, and people laugh, right? But for real, right? He's a guy that I looked up to growing up, man. You know, and obviously I didn't want to tell him that, you know.
As a result, the older man was the aggressive presser throughout, only occasionally finding himself on the receiving end of prolonged volleys for Saul Canelo Alvarez. The glass-half-full review of Saturday night's victory over Edgar Berlanga at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas is clear enough. He won. He retained his lineal super middleweight championship, and he remains at least as long as David Benavidez is plying his trade at light heavyweight, the unquestioned best in the 168 pounds division. The glass-half-empty review, which may be a little harsh, is that as he enters his relative dotage, his fights have become a little predictable. At some point, Alvarez will send his overmatched challenger to the canvas and seemingly be in with a shot of stopping him, but the moment will pass and he will end up going the full distance before his hand is raised in victory.
You're an idol to me. You know, I didn't want to say that because it's like, damn, I'm about to fight this dude. But he's somebody that we always studied, that we always looked up to.
So it was against Berlanga in the main event of a PBC on Prime pay-per-view, a fight in which Alvarez once again seemed on the cusp of an early night but ended up depending on the judges. But as with his other recent outings against Yolchero, John Ryder, and Jamie Manja, Alvarez continued to land with ruthless efficiency throughout. He connected with 49% of his power punches, even if he no longer quite has the extra gear to provide a spectacular finish. More importantly, he left his fans, including the 203-12 inside the T-Mobile Arena, more than satisfied in contemplating his next outing on Cinco de Mayo weekend 2025. Berlanga was noticeably larger than Canelo as they slowly circled at the ring's center. Berlanga is 6'1" and Canelo is 5'7", and to chance started going up Canelo. Canelo stalked him through jabs immediately. Berlanga threw a jab, but Canelo pushed forward. Berlanga kept talking trash, but Canelo was still pressing before Berlanga answered with a couple of jabs. However, Canelo had done just enough to take the round.
Damn, I want to fight my idol. But I never told him, you know, I never told the media, I never told nobody, you know, because I felt like people would have really thought that I was going to go out there and just take a knee or something just to get the opportunity to fight my idol.
Alvarez made his plans clear early on, backing Berlanga to the ropes and landing a left-right combination in the second round. Berlanga reacted with a powerful uppercut and then another to the belly. Although he was being backed up, the Puerto Rican looked comfortable in the early going. Round 3 began with an exchange of solid lefts and more chances. Mexico a left dropped Berlanga with a left hook. He was up quickly, but what a shot Canelo was looking to end. It had Berlanga in the corner. Canelo kept firing, while Berlanga kept reacting to a missed haymaker. Berlanga appeared to have escaped danger, at least for that moment in the third. With his back to the ropes, Berlanga sent a trio of stiff jabs in Canelo's direction, but then Alvarez landed a perfect left hook that spun Berlanga's head around and dropped him to the canvas.
You're somebody that we look up to, you know, for many years, and you know, it's a blessing, man, to be here, you know.
Would get up on the seat of his pants but immediately banged his fists together in frustration and returned to the battle. The fourth saw Alvarez once more backing Berlanga to the ropes. He jabbed his foe to the body and landed a straight right hand upstairs. Then he landed a hook and right hand upstairs and a hook to the body. Berlanga jabbed as Canelo stalked. There were frequent flashes of anger and irritation from both men, including in the fifth when Alvarez had Berlanga in a headlock and hit him in the body. But for all the tension and flashes of aggression, Berlanga was failing to impose himself on Canelo, who constantly stalked forward, constantly sought to cut off the ring and pin him to the ropes, always searched for an angle to land another of his vaunted left hooks. Despite the fact that he appeared to be losing pretty much every round, Berlanga, to his credit, looked comfortable and did have his moments, his output slowing increasingly as the fight progressed.
A lot of this is crazy, you know, 22,000 sold out, you know, it's a blessing.
A sneaky uppercut landed for the challenger in the 6th, and in the 7th he began to unleash his right hand. Still though, Alvarez was the man making the fight. And in the 8th, after not quite fully connecting with a vicious hook, he landed a big right hand and a sharp counter as Berlanga overreached with a right hand and left himself self-open, and all the time Alvarez dug repeatedly to Berlanga's body, landing 49 body shots throughout the fight compared to just 18 for Berlanga. The 9th was another strong round for Alvarez, as it became increasingly clear that Berlanga was not going to open up and risk a stoppage defeat in pursuit of a spectacular victory. A big right hand landed for Alvarez, along with a hook and an uppercut with Berlanga pinned in a corner, followed by an overhand right to the temple.
One of the fighters that hit very hard was Angulo. You know, he's a Cuban guy and he punched very hard too, so I'll say both of them are like...
In round 10, there was another flashpoint, Alvarez walking away when he confused the 10-second warning clapper for the round-ending bell. Berlanga, as was his right, quickly cracked him, prompting Alvarez to yell at him in anger as his rival gestured toward him. Berlanga threw a total of 186 power punches during the contest, 79 of them coming in the final 3 rounds. As he finally began to commit to his offense, the two men exchanged furious punches in the championship rounds, but once again Canelo landed with greater frequency, accuracy, and solidity. The end of the 11th saw Berlanga trapped in Alvarez's corner, providing an opportunity for the two men to shout at each other again as the round ended, and referee Harvey Dock intervened despite all the apparent foul blood. When the bell rang to end the contest, the two men pulled each other into a hug and talked to each other for a full minute or two, showing each other the respect they had earned over the previous 47 minutes.
Bite down on my mouthpiece and push. You know, and look what happened in the 3rd round. I got hit with a left hook. I dropped. We'd be practicing in camp the whole time, you know, keeping my right hand to my chin. And I wound up just moving and he connected right on my chin. And you see how I punched my glove. You know, that's like a thing for me when my last time when I got dropped, I was punching my gloves. I'm like, damn, I got hit with a shot. I'm not supposed to be on the floor. But, you know, it comes with boxing. You know, the greats done got dropped, you know, got hurt. But it's about how you come back and respond.
The result was without doubt, David Sutherland saw the fight 117-110 in Alvarez's favor, while Max Duca and Steve Weisfeld both saw it one round wider at 118-109. I'm upset because, at the end of the day, I'm a winner, Berlanga said afterward. I fought a legend tonight and did my best to represent Puerto Rico. I took his best shot, and I knew I could take his punches and return them. I could have jabbed more, but I had a legend. My experience and my talent were the difference, said Canelo. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.